Yeah. So let's discuss about the things which we discussed in this section. The first thing, so how you handle the drop downs in WebDriver. How do you handle the drop down UI? So pretty straightforward answer for this is using select class. Okay, there is a class called select in the WebDriver with which you can handle the WebDrivers. So Selenium team have deliberately released the select class for all the WebDriver functionalities. So what are the different methods you have in a select class? Okay, you can select the option from drop down using the text in the sense the option text. You can, and also you can select the option from drop down using index, and you can select the option from drop down using the value attribute. So we discussed, right, what value attribute is. And also you can select multiple options from the drop down, and you can deselect the options from the drop down, right? There are so many other ways which the select class provides. So the practical example for that we have seen in our lecture 23 and 24. So I'm just giving an oral description on that. So with this select class, you were able to handle all the features of drop down in an web application. So whatever it is, if it is a drop down, then we'll straightforward go with the select class. Okay. Next. So how do you handle Java alerts? Okay, you may be getting a pop-up every time whenever you work in application. So I'm showing here in Indigo, when you select one way, it gives a pop-up saying if you select round trip, you will get some discounts. So how do you click on that pop-up? Basically, those are not web-based. Those are Java related, or you can say window-based. So you know that Selenium handles only web-based applications. So then how do you handle the alert which is out of box of web? Okay. For that, as we discussed in the lecture 25, we have an option in a WebDriver saying that driver dot switch to dot alert. Okay, we will switch to alert, and then control of the driver will go from web browser to the alert, and then we will handle the operations present in that alert text box. So command what we use to handle alert is driver dot switch to dot alert. So alert is the method we need to switch. So once we have written that step, then if you want to click on OK, so what is the method? Do you remember? If you want to click on OK, there is accept. Accept is a method which I'm just giving a rough notes here. Driver dot switch to, remember, this method will able to switch to alert, and if you want to accept it, click on OK, then you use accept one. If you want to click on cancel, then what is the thing? Dismiss. Remember, dismiss is the method with which you can click on cancel in that pop-up. If you want to click on OK, you can go with accept. If you want to get the text which is present on the pop-up, like message which is displayed on the pop-up, then you need to go with get text, which will give us alert. Okay, so that's about Java alerts. How do you handle? And for drop downs, select method. So these are the basic things. And how do you handle checkboxes? There's nothing. Handling checkboxes, directly identifying object and clicking on it. But to make sure it is checked or not, we have a method called isSelected. This will give us whether the checkbox is selected or not. So based upon that, we can perform operation. If it is unchecked, then we can check it. If it is already checked, we can leave it. Okay. IsSelected is the method with which you can check whether the checkbox is checked or unchecked. Next, what we have seen here, enabling, disabling. So we have other methods saying is disabled, is enabled, to make sure whether the object is in disabled mode or is enabled mode. Okay, point out to that particular object and give this method is disabled. If it is disabled, then output will be as a boolean value saying true. True in the sense it is disabled. If output is false, then it is enabled mode. In the same way you have is enabled. This will come to very handy when you are working with the forms like this. Before you select something, tomorrow you will have somewhere by clicking on some link, button should get disabled. First, before selecting the checkbox, you will make sure by writing this is selected method whether it is already selected or not. If it is not, then only you will go and select. Okay, after selecting you have to check whether the button is enabled or disabled. Then you use this to check is enabled, is disabled. See, these kind of checkpoints you keep. Okay, these are very much important, and this will come very handy when you are working in an application to make UI is working as expected or not. So the live examples on this we have discussed in our lectures 25, 26, 27. You can put in 28, you can go through it, and if you have any doubts, okay. So what intake you can take this from section is, so how do you handle the drop downs, how do you handle alert boxes, how do you handle the drop check boxes, and how do you handle radio buttons. Yeah, radio buttons in the sense two radio buttons will have same object ID attributes. Remember, we have discussed it in the section 25, lecture 25. Both radio buttons have same attribute names. Then you need to take it into the list and traverse into it by using find elements method. So find elements method will return as if you have more than one object with the same attribute. So we use here find elements method and get how many are there with the same attribute, and we traverse into that list and click on this. So theoretically you may feel confusing, but please watch lecture 27 to get clear idea on this. So how you can develop, interviewer can ask you in foreground is, I need to select one radio button, but unfortunately there are 3 radio buttons and all the 3 have same attribute names, like same ID, same XPath you have. Then how do you handle that? Then you have to answer saying I use find elements and I will get all those attributes which are having same. Once I get them into the list based upon index, I will traverse and I will click on to that particular radio button. Okay, so that is how you will handle radio buttons. It's not mandatory every time that all the radio buttons should have the common attributes, but in most of the cases you see like that. Clear? Yeah, now clear about radio buttons, checkboxes, deselection, selection, enabling, disabling. Yeah, that's it. Cool. We are good to go to the next section where we handle advanced UI. Okay, Ajax, mouse interactions, much more. We'll see in the next session. Thank you.